Good morning team, Coach Ray here. Now I am a triathlon and marathon running coach who specialises in coaching beginner and recreational athletes to achieve their sporting as well as health and fitness goals. As part of that, I also work with plenty of adventure racing athletes, and in the last 7 or 8 years, plenty of athletes competing in the Spring Challenge. What I'm going to talk to you about in this short video is a nutritional plan for Spring Challenge. The aim of the plan is basically to provide your body with fuel to get you through the Spring Challenge as well as your training. Now it's going to be split into 2 parts, and this is obviously part 1. So some of the key aspects are that food is what's going to provide your body with that energy. You need to consume that food to get the energy out of it. Now the food can be made up of any of 4 macronutrients. I'm going to take the focus off alcohol because that's not really a good fuel for your exercise, and put the focus on carbohydrates, fat and protein. Now carbohydrates are the readily available energy, and there's plenty of good carbohydrates out there. They have taken a bit of a bad reputation lately, but it's not necessarily deserved, and I'll talk to carbohydrates in a lot more detail shortly. Fat is the most abundant energy source. Now even on a skinny person, there's going to be more than enough energy to get you through the Spring Challenge or most other events. And for the third one, protein, it's important for recovery and repair. Just jumping back to carbohydrate and going into that in a lot more detail, carbohydrate provides both short and long-term energy for you during your training and during your event. It's going to be critical for your performance of your team, regardless of whether you're doing a 3-hour, the 6-hour or the 9-hour. 1 gram of carbohydrate provides 16 kilojoules of energy. That's about 4 calories. And once you've consumed the carbohydrate, it gets broken down in the body and absorbed into the bloodstream. The bigger and more complex the carbohydrate is, the longer it takes to process and get into the bloodstream. Once it is in the bloodstream, well, it gets broken into glucose and then it gets absorbed into the bloodstream as that. And sometimes it'll get stored in the liver or in the muscle itself as glycogen. Once it's in the blood as the glucose, it can be transported to the muscle, and it can easily gain access, or the muscle can easily gain access to it to generate energy. And that's a reasonably quick process. Now if you do run low on blood glucose, the body will just draw from the glycogen reserves in the liver or the muscles until they run out, and then you've got a problem in terms of running low on blood glucose, and then you're going to have to rely on fat, which is a lot slower process. And if you ever felt the experience of hitting the wall, that's when your blood glucose runs low and you can't actually generate that higher intensity exercise, and you've got to slow right down relying on the fat. Now I'm going to simplify things a little bit and say that there's two types of carbohydrates. There's those that are low on the glycemic index and those that are high. Now the glycemic index basically just indicates how quickly something's going to get absorbed into the bloodstream. So things that are high on the glycemic index, lollies are a really good example, are absorbed nice and easily, broken down quickly, and have a boost in blood glucose almost immediately. Now that's not necessarily a good thing. And the low GI foods, the starches, the potatoes, the rices, the kumiras, those sort of foods are going to provide more longer lasting energy, and it's not going to happen so quickly, and it's not going to spike the blood glucose as much. If the blood glucose is spiking, we're going to have a whole lot of other things occur. But if your blood glucose level is pretty damn low because you've ran out of it and hit the wall, then getting some real simple carbohydrates in, some sugars, some lollies, and boost that energy or the blood glucose up is going to be a really good thing to do. Only do that if you really need to do it. So moving on from carbohydrates, I'm going to talk about hydration a little bit. When the body is optimally hydrated, it can perform optimally. If it's dehydrated, you're not going to perform as well as possible. Now if you do become overhydrated, the body's just going to process and convert that extra fluid into urine, and you'll pee it out later on, or whenever you get the urge or somewhere convenient to go. How do you tell if you're well hydrated or overhydrated? The quickest and easiest way to tell is your urine colour. If your urine is flowing clear, you're well hydrated. If it's dark in colour, you're dehydrated. Or be aware if you've been having a large number of vitamins and minerals, a Barocca, that sort of thing, it's going to change your urine colour to a bright intensity, because you're urinating out all the extra vitamins that your body can't absorb from that. Energy drinks are reasonably popular as well, particularly the likes of Red Bull and V. Now, because these are carbonated, they're not necessarily the best thing for your athletic performance or consuming while you're exercising. The fizziness will cause a gastric upset in a lot of people, and it won't be optimal. You're going to want to drink something a bit more suitable, whether it's a Gatorade or Powerade. It's going to provide you carbohydrates in a form of energy. You can get these pre-made, or you can buy the powdered form, the likes of Balance and Lepin and products similar to that, to mix into your drinks and consume as you're exercising. Also, since I touched on the Balance and the Lepin, they're both New Zealand made products from a couple of great companies. They also make little squeezy sachets that are easy to consume gels that provide you a good hit of energy. If you are taking these, make sure you wash them down with water so they get diluted in the stomach, and that makes them easier to be absorbed. So that's part one of what I'm going to be talking about. In part two, I'm going to talk about your pre-event food, what to eat the night prior to the event, and a few other things. But to quickly recap, the aim of your nutrition plan for Spring Challenge is to provide the body with fuel to get you through the Spring Challenge and your training. Food can be broken into a number of different macronutrients, the carbohydrates, fat, protein, as well as alcohol that we'll just put over there to the side. The carbs, they're the readily available energy. Fat, that's the most abundant energy and also utilised at the lower intensities. Carbohydrates utilised more at the higher intensities. Protein is important for recovery and repair. If we delve into a bit more detail and go over the carbohydrates again, there's both the long and short-term energy to utilise during the event, and it's going to be critical regardless of whether you're doing the 6, the 3 or the 9 hour. Once it's broken down in the body, it's absorbed into the bloodstream where it can provide the energy to the muscles. You've got the low and the high GI carbohydrates. The focus should be on the low GI carbohydrates, the starchy vegetables, the potatoes, the kumara, the rice, those sort of things for the majority of your energy needs. But your high GI foods can be there to save you if your blood glucose runs low and you do hit the wall. Hydration, make sure you're optimally hydrated because you'll get the best results out of it. And to check this, see what colour your urine is. If it's flowing clear, then you're good to go. Avoid energy drinks such as Red Bull and focus more on providing good quality carbohydrates from the likes of Powerade, Gatorade, Balance, Lepin, those sort of products, whether it's the powdered drink that you've mixed up or the pre-mixed one or the squeezy sachets. If you like this video, please share it so your teammates and other friends can get advantage of the knowledge shared in this video, but also add a comment down below. I do appreciate the feedback everyone gives me, and I look forward to having a chat some stage. I've got some webinars coming up about the last few weeks and also what to do on event day for Spring Challenge. Check those out.